Metatron's Ladder, The Practice of the Lightning Flash, is a new book by David Chaim Smith in which he explores the Kabbalistic text called the 13 Powers. Now, I am excited about this text for a couple of reasons. First of all, well, from a very practical perspective, it gives me an opportunity to give you a look at one of his new format hardcover books. David has been issuing books rather in paperback format recently, print on demand, because he's been publishing so many, right? He's actually had so many books to release that yes, it made sense to release them as paperbacks rather than as those super deluxe hardcover editions that you may recognize over there. So these latest books he's made available both as paperbacks and also as hardcovers. Now, I gave you a quick look of the paperback edition of the Book of Lambspring recently in one of my end of month review videos, but it's also available as a hardcover of exactly the same size actually as Metatron's Ladder. They fit perfectly together. They look actually quite smart on the shelf. So I am actually really a fan of this new format. It's it's not Smith's own, but it doesn't really matter with this. I'm going to say few pages. It's not particularly short. You're still getting around 100 pages, I guess. 85 pages. There we go. Is Metatron's Ladder. So it's not exactly a pamphlet or anything like that. It is a book, and you are definitely getting your money's worth in terms of the beautiful drawings, the diagrams that David Chaim Smith is well known for. But what's particularly exciting for me in this book is how accessible it is. It's really, for me, it captures the philosophy that David Chaim Smith is reaching for in every single one of his books, really, in a quite beautiful way. The preface in itself, and I'll actually pan out a little bit so that you can have a read of that. It's definitely worth a read if you've got a few moments, just to get an idea of what this is about. And just those first 2 pages, that's all you really need in order to get an idea of what this is. David Chaim Smith's philosophy is a philosophy of bringing together Kabbalistic and Hermetic language to reach for the truths that are the goal of, let's say, Dzogchen, so non-dual goals, right? Non-dual goals of contemplation. And he uses these diagrams to explain where we fit in this non-dual world, if there is in fact a we at all. And he does a great job, despite saying despite saying that he's less interested in the scholar side of things as he is in the actual practical side of things, which is a reasonable perspective to take, I think. Nevertheless, he does point out that if that is a bother in any way, these are the scholars that you can go and read instead, or not instead necessarily, but as well, right? David reached out to me recently saying, I have been putting out quite a few books recently, and it is worth pointing out that these books, I haven't just come up with them day after day and just putting out stuff that's occurring to me in the morning and just putting out a book in the evening kind of thing. This is the result of 25 years of living in retreat and daily contemplation and yeah. So it's not just David coming up with a load of new books and then publishing them as he thinks of them, but rather, yes, as I say, this is really the result. It's the exegesis of 25 years worth of contemplation, and I think that really comes across, when you read his books. It's clear that he's speaking from a perspective of experience rather than just philosophizing. It's nice because that way he can guide you, right? It is a guidance rather than an explanation. And that's wonderful. That really is wonderful. In fact, just reading his preface, gives the part of whatever we call you plenty of pause for thought. I think it's a special text, and we're very lucky to have David around to guide us in these kinds of directions, using a language that is familiar to the student of Kabbalistic and Hermetic philosophy. There we go. That's pretty much what I've got to say about this. I'm very pleased with this format. It is print on demand, but it is the highest quality of print on demand that you could possibly hope for. I guess this is some kind of imit-lin. It feels maybe a little bit like nylon. It certainly doesn't feel flimsy. It feels very robust. It feels like it's going to withstand the test of time. The paper is really very nice. It is kind of glossy. I'm going to say satin, right? So not so glossy that you can't see the pictures, but nevertheless glossy enough for those pictures to really pop. It's very nicely printed. It's very finely printed. I'm really zooming in here, and hopefully you can get an idea of the quality of the printing. There we are. It's worth pointing out that the images are, to my eyes, I do need a magnifying glass, right? I need a magnifying glass, or simply to whip out my phone and to hit the ×2 kind of thing, and then it's very easy to see because it's so finely printed. It's so well printed. But to the naked eye, if you are getting to my kind of age and you're not wearing reading glasses quite yet, then that might be a little bit small. As I say, there are ways around that, and the text itself, of course, is perfectly readable. Very, very nice format, very nicely formatted, and there's nothing wrong with this. It's very, very nice indeed. Okay, I think that's everything that I've got to say about this. Thank you ever so much for watching. Don't forget to leave a thumbs up, hit the like button, the stuff, and subscribe if you haven't done so already. And if you'd like to support the channel, of course, there is that Patreon, which is a tremendous amount of help. It definitely keeps the channel going. Thank you ever so much to everyone who has already joined. And I'm going to wish you all a fantastic Halloween. It's almost Halloween, right? Take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and see you very soon. Bye-bye.